So you know what's funny? Today I was out with a friend and we were talking about if you could ask God one question, what would you ask him? And she says, I would ask God what's one thing I did that he like laughed at me about. And I was like, I like that. Just the idea that like something I could do in my little life could make God laugh. And that prompted me to think, God, what's one moment where you knew? Because you know, God's perception of time is not our perception of time, right? Like, what's one moment where you saw me like freak out and you're like, you're gonna realize it's not that deep. And like, I'm pretty sure there's many of them. But like, what's because I've crashed out with God a lot, and I just wonder like, what's one moment where it's like, I can't wait till she realizes it's not that deep. Like, it's okay. Like, you're gonna be okay. Um, and so I do pose that question to you. What's if you could ask God one question, what would you ask him? We asked a stranger that same question, and she goes, "I don't question God, I just trust Him." And I was like, what an interesting response. Now, here's a couple. There's so many reasons why that was an interesting response, but here's two. The first one is, I never thought of questioning God, um, in the way that my friend did. The first time I asked that question, I was thinking like, how do I bring world peace? And like, is America gonna fall? Like, it was just like something like, is Epstein alive? Like, like something something I guess like bigger. And I never thought about something like, I would pose that question as like joyful, like a joyful question. The second thing was really like this idea that asking God questions is an indicator of a lack of trust. And it made me wonder, I was like, do people really think that? Do people think to ask God questions is a lack of trust? And the more I ruminated on her response, the more I was like, yeah, I remember listening to a sermon where this guy was like, asking God questions is a sign of spiritual immaturity. And I'd like to kindly, humbly disagree. Absolutely not. It's not. Because like, I remember when I heard that in a sermon, and I, at that time, did not like it. But it's because I like to ask God questions. So I was like, in my pride, no, ain't nothing wrong with asking God questions. But then I also, when I really thought about it today, I was like, no, there's nothing wrong with asking God questions, because if you read the Bible, who, like literally who did God have a relationship with in the Bible that did not ask him a question? That just like, oh, I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna just do it. I'm not gonna ask God questions. Sometimes when people didn't ask questions about, that's how y'all got in trouble. Cause you made decisions without consulting the one who sent you. If anything, asking questions is a sign of trusting God. This is just my humble opinion. Like, to be willing to ask God questions, to war with God, to tarry with God, to struggle with God, is a path to maturity and advancement, if not development, of trusting God. So, I honestly, when she said it, I like, of course, I walked away, because like that moment had passed, and I was like, okay, um, I'm like, if you're not willing to ask God questions on this long journey that is life, I'm sorry. Do you even believe in God? Because you wake up every day living in America and you don't got no questions? I got questions for everybody. I have questions when I walk into a Walmart. Like, I have questions when I just see people in Walmart. God, what? Y'all, like, I have questions when I walk outside and I see people like walking around like they have no clothes. I'm like, are they okay? That's a child. Do I need to call assistance? Should I be donating a coat? You should always have questions. You should always have questions, because that means you're an active participant in your reality. You're not a passerby. Like, this is the life you've been giving and you're living it. I don't think trusting is silence. Trusting someone does not mean you are silent and just let them do whatever they're gonna do. Trusting someone means you believe they're gonna communicate enough that you're going to speak up. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think, because that just got me. I was like, that's such an interesting response. But then when I really thought about it, I was like, why is asking God a sign of a lack of trust? I don't perceive that way. But let me know what y'all think. Peace.